What's good? This your brother PromoatBlack. I know living in a system can be real whack, so I'm gonna give you the strat so you know how to react. This is Homestead with PromoatBlack. I wanted to come before you guys today and switch it up. I wanted to talk about a really important yet controversial issue, which is the mysterious unaliving of Nolan Wells. I've posted on my social media about my theories and what I'm assuming is going on. But I felt compelled to bring you today some audio footage that was released yesterday. Shout out to the Black Grassroots, the FBA Grassroots, because they always give me the news before my regular news does. I'll get information from here before I see it on my nightly news, for instance. So in this case, I want to say this came out, and then TMZ a few hours later wanted to come out and act like they had the audio first. But that's neither here nor there, because I'm just happy that the corruption is being exposed in different venues. And so, like I've been telling people, man, I'm becoming convinced that the murder of Nolan Wells is a ritualistic annual lynching secretly done on Horn Island, which is why they're working overtime in an attempt to lie it away. If the waters of Horn Island were searched, I'm sure you will find more black bodies. I also had this confirmed. I didn't post it here, but there was an article that came out by the people who were like the Coast Guard, who were pretty much searching that water. And they said that there were a lot of drownings and that there could be more bodies in that water. So I took that as confirmation. Like, look, this happens all the time. But what I'm bringing you today is the alleged clear audio that removes the dispatcher, because they have this audio because they were able to, the dispatcher, when you call into the police, they can still hear you even before the dispatcher comes on. And so this is more about hearing what was said in the background as they were waiting for the dispatcher to come on to the line.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Really did. Now, you hear that? Let's hear it one more time, y'all, just in case you missed it. And that's the, you could tell that's probably the girlfriend or whoever, whatever female he was dealing with. See, my theory is they knew what would happen to him on that island. That's why every time you hear them say that they tried to tell him to come into the boat with them, that's them admitting that he was in some sort of danger. But what kind of danger was he in that you guys weren't in? But then you say that he went to go and hang out with a girl. She should know something that's going on, but yet even she's shocked. So what it sounds like to me is he got into an altercation. His friends were nowhere around to help him, but they know who killed him. And that's why I say, even if they didn't do it themselves, the cover up as far as the white supremacy goes is they're stopping each other from having from experiencing punishment. And that's why they're lying and covering up, because they could easily say this guy killed my friend and I wasn't okay with that. But that's not what they're saying. They're all covering it up. They're all covering for each other because they're the children of judges and DAs and all this kind of stuff in Mississippi. So there's major corruption. And that's why you can hear they even ask, can we cover it up? So that's how you know that they do this. Like I said, this was July 4th in Mississippi, man. And if people don't know the history of Mississippi, man, it was like the lynching capital of America in what, 1910s, 1920s? I mean, even before that. I mean, but the point is, like, we know the history here. So for people to try to play dumb like that's not what's going on or that's not what's happening, it's clear here that they lied. Isn't this inconsistent when they said they didn't know what happened to him? They said that they left the island and all this stuff, but they didn't have him with them. But there's images of him being on a boat. I also seen a video which is more graphic, which is why I didn't want to share it, where a lady released on Twitter where you could see Nolan's body beaten on the beach with two white men standing over him. So, I mean, that harkens back to the old lynching photos of people standing there smiling, while someone's hanging from a tree. So that just goes to show, like, there's a lot of corruption here. And for anyone who hadn't heard this, man, they know that they killed him. They knew he was already dead. Maybe someone beat him up. Okay, let's go with that. And that still escalated to a point where they killed him. And there was no one there to help him or save him or anything like that. But these were supposed to be his friends. So But there's another video I also wanted to show you guys, which I think sums up the frustration and why everyone is so frustrated with this situation, because it's obvious there's a lot of corruption.
Why are y'all so adamant about him drowning? Coming onto my page spewing propaganda and misinformation and crap. Listen, I was trying to be fair until y'all started talking. I was trying to be fair until y'all reminded me of so many inconsistencies in y'all stories and y'all doing all the talking. To take us off the scent trail of Nolan Wells, stop. Just stop. It's now a cover-up. It could have been an accident. I think it was an accident. But the cover-up is going to get all of y'all. Watch. So let's talk procedures, because that was my premise of my argument. Do you remember, what's that young lady name? Casey Anthony? She was in handcuffs one day after her daughter was reported missing. Not for murder, but for lying. And what about that guy named Brian Welsh? He was held 4 days, and the charge, it was misleading investigator. He is currently serving life right now. And lastly, what about that Lori Vallow girl who sat in jail for 4 months because before they even found her children? Procedure. Wow. That was my argument. Procedures. It's called collateral charge. It's not saying that y'all guilty, but basic procedures. Every state has it. You don't need the cause of death. You need one person whose story that doesn't match or doesn't hold up. So Jackson County, did all accounts match up? No. Other witnesses' story match up? No. Stories don't even match. And if they match, why don't you publicly say so? If you flip the skin color, if 3 black teenagers came back from Horn Island and that one white kid didn't, their clothes would be in evidence bags. Their phones would be imaged. That boat processed from the stem to the stern with blood forensics or cadaver dogs before sundown. Everyone knows this. That was my argument. Procedures. Any state goes through its procedures. So you can't sit up here and tell us that a young dead man's keys and his phone shows up at your house on the coffee table near a gaming console. One of those young men's keys is in this bedroom, that their asses would not be taken downtown in custody for...
Come on, man. I had to stop it right there because I just wanted to piggyback off what he said, man. My wife and I, we've been on this kick where we watch the crime shows, Almost Got Away with It, Fear Thy Neighbor. There's various shows on Discovery Plus where you can see the nature and ideology of criminals. And one thing that I could tell you is if I was to go out and commit a murder, and also the police procedures, to his point, if I was to go out and commit a murder, man, they would leave no unalive, and they would leave no stone unturned in order to convict me, in order to figure out what I did. They would watch CCTV. They would get blood splatter information. I mean, they would not leave no stone unturned when it comes to dealing with putting me in jail. But yet somehow when it comes to a black kid who's unalived by white kids, all of a sudden they want to come out day one talking about, we have no signs of foul play. We know that you're lying, and we know that you're full of it, because in all these crime shows, especially when they're trying to catch a murder, when they're trying to catch a mass murder or someone who commits murders frequently, when they're looking for that person, they come out and they say, we have no information that we want to release to the public at this time. We are still investigating. And they always do that to throw off the perp that they're looking for. They don't even come out and say that when it's this situation. You don't even give time for the investigation to take place, for y'all to even look at anything. Y'all just quick to jump out there. Oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. And that's how we know that you guys are guilty. That's how we know that there's more to it. And look, if you want to unalive black kids, if you want to do your little rituals on July 4th, if you want to take someone else's life, okay, fair enough. We have a penal code for that. And if you want to do that, then you're going to sit in this cell for the rest of your life. That's what you deserve. That's the punishment that you should get. So for y'all to try to, we want to talk about all this racial equality. All we're asking for is for them to be punished like any other person. They always want to bring up black on black crime, but the thing is, the black person who commits that crime is always going to be punished by that system. Even if he commits that crime against another black person, he will get his recompense. But somehow, when these white people unalive a black kid, somehow, some way, no one gets punished. No, it gets swept under the rug, and we're just not going for it this time. So shout out to the internet sleuth. Shout out to this sister. Let me scroll up to remember her name. Janetta Brantley. Shout out to that sister for putting this out there, man, for clearing up this audio. because they think they're slick, man, and we're just not going for it. You know, there comes a time where, you know, you guys have to honor the laws of this land. We want to celebrate it being July 4th. You want to celebrate 250 years of America, but yet we're still not honoring the premises of that Constitution. And that's why so many foundational Black Americans are having such an issue with this case, because it's obvious. We know the history of Mississippi. And then with his last name being Wells and him possibly being a descendant from Ida B. Wells, that adds an extra layer to this story. And I know that people get thrown off by, you know, the countenance of their white counterparts. So they don't come across as being aggressive or this, that, and the third. But that's kind of the stick. When it is that time for them to get aggressive, you're already alone. You're already behind enemy lines. And so even though I don't agree with him even being in this situation, it is unfortunate that he had to lose his life. And that's why we're saying, hey, justice is punishment for those involved, punishment for those who covered it up. Because if it was anyone else who were trying to cover up a murder, or who were, hell, you could even be an accessory after the fact. You could just be helping cover something up after the fact. And these people definitely qualify for that, even if they were not the ones themselves who took his life. And so I just felt compelled to come on here and bring this information out to you guys. Like I said, for me, Black Twitter, Foundational Black American Twitter, man, has been a more reliable news source than the legacy media. So I felt compelled to show my friends and my followers, my subscribers, this information. I'm going to be trying to, you know, sprinkle in a few more videos like this, a few more commentary videos like this. Let me know in the comment section if you like this switch up. But yeah, man, this is unfortunately, it's another reason why I have to come on and say, and this is why I live in the middle of nowhere, because I have protection, I have peace. And that's not to say, you know, it's infinitum, but I know I have rules and I have rights on my own land where if you violate those, you know, if you come onto this land and you're trespassing, something could happen to you. It's the only place I can make my own rules. And that's why I encourage, you know, our people to not only to purchase land, but to, you know, put in a pot to buy grandma's house, to buy the, you know, land, so that someone always has something to fall back on. Someone always has a place to stay that's kept in the family. But that's just my 2 cents, guys. I just wanted to come before you and show you guys this, man. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. Like I said, man, we'll be doing a few more videos like this. Thanks for all your support. Feel free to like and subscribe. Already. Peace.